Assalamu alaikum everyone. Myself Engineer Abdul Basit and I am Marketing Director of Sindhu Educational Organization. Today we have our online session about Erasmus Mundus Joint Scholarship Masters Degree Program. So today we have our guest speakers Mr. Rafiq Ahmed and Mr. Subhan Ali. Mr. Rafiq Ahmed has done BE from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, and he has done MS in Computational Color and Spectral Imaging through Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, and he is currently a research engineer at Hubert Curren Liberty University, Jean Monnet, France. And Mr. Subhan Ali has done BS from Sakraibi University as a National Talent and Program or NTHP Scholarship Program, and he has done his Masters from NTNU Norpart Connect Scholarships, and he is currently working as web developer at Norsec Tipping. So today they will be guiding us about the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship Program. So without any further ado, over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Rafiq Ahmed as introduced by the organizers. So today we will be talking about Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree Program Scholarship. About me, as told by the organizers, I did my matriculation from Cadet College Kotke in 2015, and then I completed my intermediate in 2017. And then in 2021, I completed my bachelor's in electronics engineering from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshoro. And soon after that, I started my master's in computational color and spectral imaging through Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree. And I completed my master's degree between two universities, NTNU in Norway and University of Germany in France. And currently, I am working as a research engineer at the Hubert Curren Laboratory, University of Germany, France. So this was a little bit introduction of me. So the question is basically what is Erasmus Mundus? So basically Erasmus Mundus is joint master's degree program. As the name suggests, it is a joint master's degree program, which means that in this program, normally for each master's degree or each master's course, there are minimum 2 hosting institutions and maximum can be 4, 5, 6 depending on the programs. So that's why it's called a joint master's degree, because minimum you have at least 2 hosting countries or 2 hosting universities from different countries. That's why it's a joint master's degree. It's funded by European Union, which means that it will cover all the expenses from your daily expenses, accommodation to traveling and fees and everything you will be provided. And normally they give you funding of around 49,000 euros for 2 years. It will be in installments. So you will receive each month 1,000 euros and then you will get traveling cost and everything for the whole year. So you will utilize that traveling cost to travel from one country to another country for your semesters. As far as requirements are considered, these requirements vary from course to course, which means that since there are a lot of Erasmus Mundus courses or master's programs, so for each course or each master's program, the requirements are different for each course, and it mostly depends on the course and the hosting universities. So for example, in Norway hosts 2 courses. For example, there are a lot of other programs in Norway, but I've just mentioned 2 here just for an example. One is COSI and another is SSIS. COSI is the one in which I have completed my master's. So even though these both programs are being hosted by Norway, but yet the requirements are quite different because the hosting universities are different. Even if they have same hosting universities, for example, I don't remember the name of program, but there is one program which is also hosted by NTNU. It's related to electrical engineering. But when we compare COSI and that electrical engineering program, they both have different requirements. So even if the hosting universities are same, the requirements are different. Yeah, but the thing with Erasmus is that it's very, very competitive. It's highly competitive. So you will be basically competing internationally. Somebody is using pen or something on the screen, so please don't. And since, as I mentioned, it's highly competitive, so there are limited number of scholarships which are awarded to the students internationally. So, for example, in our course in COSI, there were 16 scholarships, Erasmus Mundus scholarships, which were awarded to 16 students internationally. So that's why I was saying it's highly competitive, because when you are applying for Erasmus Mundus, you are basically competing on international level, not the national level. So there is no quota or something like this dedicated for any country. Doesn't matter if you are from US or you are from Pakistan, you are in the same line and you will be competing internationally for that particular program in which you are applying for the Erasmus Mundus. So same thing, the selection is carried out internationally. So as far as requirements are concerned, as I mentioned previously, that these requirements vary from program to program, course to course, but there are certain requirements which are very common, and almost every program, in every program you will find these requirements. The first is letter of motivation, where you talk about your motivation, why you are applying for this program, particular program. I will be going in detail in next slides. And letter of recommendations, these are normally from the professors or the lecturers which have taught you or which have supervised you during your thesis and something like this. And then there is a CV and proof of English language proficiency. So when it comes to this proof of English language proficiency, I think, as per my knowledge, there are like 1 or 2 percentage programs which don't require IELTS, or in those cases the IELTS is not mandatory. So these programs are very, very, very less. But normally for Erasmus, IELTS is mandatory. So either you can do IELTS or TOEFL. Again, the requirement varies. So how much score is required, it depends on the program. Again, somebody is using the pen. Please don't disturb. Passport is also required. So when you fill the application, normally passport is required, and then the educational documents, which include your masters, your bachelors, if you have done masters, but normally your bachelor's document. So, and the educational documents, which include normally your bachelor's, and if you have done masters, you can also include that masters. Okay, so I will erase it if somebody is trying. Okay, then uh, so the process is, normally you visit the course website and you make a list of all the compulsory documents which are required, and then you have to keep under consideration that whatever the documents are required, you have to submit all the documents, because normally for Erasmus Mundus, irrespective of the master's program, there are two steps. The first step is administrative evaluation, and the second is academic evaluation. So in the administrative step, they check all the documents. So if the applicant has not submitted any document which was mentioned on the website, they will reject your application. Doesn't matter if you have 4 out of 4 GPA, doesn't matter if your profile is very, very competitive or very, very fit for the program, they will reject from the first phase, because they will not carry out any academic evaluation. So it's just administrative check and they will reject, which means that your application will not reach to the academic phase and your application will not be assessed. And all the documents which are mentioned on the website, they are compulsory and they really play a big role in the final selection. But there are some documents which are more important than the others, so I will talk about those as well. Okay, so the first document is a CV. So normally for CV, it's good practice to use Europass format. So there is an online platform called Europass. You can make your account using your Gmail, and then you can make your CV and you can download it. It's normally used for every program for Erasmus Mundus, and there are certain programs which they ask you that it's compulsory to make your CV in Europass. So it's good to make your CV using Europass format when you are applying for Erasmus Mundus. And then while making the CV, it's good to present only relevant data and avoid listing, which means that for example, you are applying for Erasmus Mundus master's program, and you are applying for too many programs, let's say 4 or 5 programs. So these programs are normally multidisciplinary, so you only have to put a relevant data. For example, if I'm applying for COSI, which is related to color science and computer vision. So I need to put the things which are related to color science and computer science. I don't need to put the things which are related to electronics engineering or electrical engineering in my CV because they are irrelevant. They don't need this thing for COSI. But again, if I'm applying for another course which is related to electronics engineering or electrical engineering, then it's good to put all the things which are related to electronics and electrical, not to put the things which are related to the color science and stuff like this. So that's what I wanted to say, that avoid listing. And also include the social background as well. For example, you have some achievements, you have some hobbies which you think that these are related. For example, if you have hobby of like reading books, so that plays a vital role when it comes to the research skills or literature review, so you can mention that as well in your CV. It's good to mention. Or if you have like some volunteering activities and some social activities, you can also mention them as well. And the in CV there should be like a proper sequence, so it's always good to start from the latest and then end at the past. For example, if you have completed your bachelor's recently, so you will put your bachelor's on the top in the education section, and then you will put your intermediate below the bachelor's, because that's the sequence normally in Pakistan. So, and for example, if you have done 2 3 internships, and so it's good to put the latest one on top, and then you go for the other internships. And then it's also good to justify whatever you have put on the CV. So, for example, if you are mentioning about some courses and saying that I have done this course, so it's good to put the link and or the certificate. So, if you do any course from Coursera, they will give you a link, and if you incorporate that link on your CV, so whenever the guy who's assessing your CV will click on that link, he or she would have access to the certificate. So your whatever you have put on the CV is now justified, and there is a proof of that thing, so it will enhance your chances. And then letter of motivation. A letter of motivation is basically a game changer document for Erasmus Mundus. So I will give you a little example. For example, as I mentioned initially, that I have done my bachelor's in electronics engineering, and then I have done my master's in COSI, computational color and spectral imaging, which is totally different from the electronics engineering, because COSI mainly focuses on color science and computer vision, and electronics engineering is different thing. So when I was applying, I had few courses relevant to the course, but the main document which I will say during my admission or application was letter of motivation, where I try to incorporate as many relevant things as possible. So for this document, basically the goal is you answer 2 questions: why you are fit for this course, and why this course is fit for you. These are main two questions which you have to consider, or which you have to keep in your mind when you are writing letter of motivation. uh, there are some programs, they normally suggest you, or they will give you a template, and they will ask you to fill that template. So normally they have like 5 6 questions, and you have to answer those questions. And then there are certain programs, they don't give you any specified questions, rather they ask you to write a journal letter of motivation related to the program and related to the application. So you have to be careful what they are asking. If they have given the specific template, then you have to use that specific template. And if they have a specified word limit or character limit, you have to respect that word limit or character limit. You don't have to exceed from that particular limit. But if they don't have given any limit, or they haven't given any template on the website, then you can write a letter of motivation, and it should be normally around 6 or 700 words, and I think that's enough for Erasmus Mundus. In our case, in COSI, there was no specific template and there was no word requirement. So for me, the letter of motivation which I wrote was around like 6 or 700 words maximum. So while writing the letter of motivation, it's good to be clear and be specific, be very precise, because this particular document is basically like a proof of what you are. So by that I mean the guy who's assessing your application, he or she doesn't know you and they don't know who you are. It's only this document who will be representing what actually you are and why you are interested in this course. So it's good to write very clearly and very precisely, and then try to highlight hidden aspects, because as I was discussing earlier that my background was in electronics engineering and I was applying for COSI. So this is what I did. I highlighted my hidden aspects, like for example course content. So during my bachelor's there were some courses which were related to signal processing and like for example digital signal processing and image formation for example. So although these specific courses are mentioned on my transcript, but they don't have access to, or they don't know what I was taught during these courses. So in this letter you have this space to elaborate, to highlight the things which you think which are related to the course which you are applying for example in my case, since the course focuses on imaging, so I was trying to discuss that factor from my bachelor's studies rather than discussing other things. So this is a document where you can highlight these certain aspects which you think, okay, this is relevant and I think this will be good to mention. And another thing is the course where you are applying, for example any course, they have specific websites which I will show you later, and from there you can see what is their curriculum, what they will be teaching during these 2 years. So then you can see the course content and everything, then you can relate everything that okay, this is something which I have been taught during my bachelor's, or this is something which I covered through this course, or this is something which I did during my internship. Then you can relate those things and then you can discuss those things and highlight them. But again, be specific and relevant. So you don't need to discuss everything in this letter. Rather, you need to discuss only the things which are relevant, as I gave examples earlier. And in letter of motivation also show your social life, as I was discussing when I was talking about the CV. So now here in CV, okay, you can just say that okay, you did this, but there you don't have like too much space to discuss about these events, or you don't have too much space to relate these events with Erasmus Mundus. So in the letter of motivation you can discuss these things as well, because the thing with Erasmus courses is that they are multidisciplinary and they are multicultural, which means that after every semester you have to travel to another country, to a new culture, and adapting a new culture, adapting a new education system is a very challenging thing. So you can mention these things as well, but you have to give the examples. So it's not just saying that okay, I am good with adopting the new culture, but you have to show okay how. If you are saying that I'm good with adopting these new cultures, then you have to give the example, you have to be reasonable, you have to justify your statement how you are good with adopting these things. And then you have to also consider this, and another aspect which is language of your letter of motivation. So you have to focus on sentence structure, you have to focus on grammar, and also the spelling, because these are minor things which we don't focus on, but they play a very important role for your selection. And it should be attention grabbing, so there should be flow in the sentences, and you have to be careful about the vocab you are using. If you are like applying for a program which is related to computer science, so you have to use technical vocab and you have to avoid using informal vocab. And then you have to take care of the text, it should be justified, and you have to take care of font size as well. These two aspects, language and attention grabbing, these are the two aspects through which while reading your letter of motivation they get this sense that how good you are at writing and how good you are at presenting something. Because once you have joined that course, once you will join that course, you will be focusing on researching, you will be focusing on publishing, you will be focusing on writing reports, In Europe, they have this big culture of writing long reports for your projects and everything. So while reading your letter of motivation, they check these two things as well: how good you are at describing, how good you are good at showcasing your thing to others, and how good your writing is for, especially for a non-expert reader. So you have to be careful about these things too. So I have just I prepared a few demos about this letter of motivation. So okay, so this is one example, for example, of letter of motivation. It's just an example. So you can see here that the field of study is not mentioned in the first slide. For example, it's the candidate is saying that I'm interested in applying for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship, but the course is not specified, because as I told earlier, in Erasmus Mundus there are a lot of courses. There are like 189 courses for the masters. So the field of study is not clear. So it's not clear for the one who's assessing your application, that okay, he will get the sense, okay, he or she doesn't know about the course, it's just something general he just took and then submitted. And then you can see that there is a high use of broader terms. For example, to gain international experience, then enhance my knowledge, for example, then passionate about learning, then for example, saying that I want to apply for this program, but this letter doesn't answer these questions. It's unclear that how the student is motivated for this program, because saying international experience or personal growth is very general thing. You need to be very specific how this program will help you in this international experience, or how do you think that with this program you will grow personally, or how do you think that you will enhance your knowledge and you will improve the skills. And also you can see that in this particular letter of motivation, it's not clear that how this particular course for which you are applying can benefit you for your long-term goals and for your career. But then if we see this example, for example, this is another example, and in this you can see that here it's clear that okay, the student has written that I want to pursue my masters in sustainable development. So now it's clear in which direction you are going, and you know what you are applying for. And then you have, like for example, he has provided the relevant experience, background in environmental engineering and research on the renewable energy system. So now it's clear that okay, you have relevant experience as well. And then you have also defined, for example, career goal. What are your career goal? What you want to be in your future, like after completing your masters, what you want to be. For example, here the guy is saying I want to be a sustainable development leader, and then the guy has also related how this particular program for which I'm applying can help me in achieving this career goal. Like he's discussing importance of studying in multiple countries to gain a diverse perspective and collaborating on carbon reduction projects. And then you can also see that in this letter, he has not only shown his motivation, but he has also shown how Erasmus Mundus, this particular program of Erasmus Mundus, will benefit me for my career. So these are the things. This is just an example. So you have to keep in mind while writing the letter. You have to be very reasonable. You have to be very specific, and you have to be very precise. And you have to avoid like general discussion. You have to avoid using these broader terms. If you are using broader terms, then you have to justify. Okay, if you are saying that okay, with this course, particular master's degree, I am pretty sure that I will enhance my knowledge. But then you have to tell which knowledge and how do you think that you will enhance your knowledge. And then this is a demo for a sample for letter of recommendation. So you have to be careful for letter of recommendation as well, that you have to ask your referee, one who is recommending you, you have to ask him or her that it should not be very general. For example, like this letter of recommendation, which is like very general, the guy is just praising the student, and there is no detail, there is no example, there is no justification of what he is saying. And uh, for example, in this letter of recommendation, you can see that, for example, if we compare first line of both recommendation letters and the second, you can see that it's clearly mentioned that to the Erasmus Mundus selection committee, but in the first, it's to whom it may concern. So there is a clear difference that, okay, if we look at the first sample, we can see that the one who is recommend doesn't know where he is recommended. Even he doesn't know about the program. So it's just a journal, or it's just something he already had and he just gave you, okay, you can apply. But in the second, you can see that the first impression, it's very nice. It gives the sense that, okay, the one who's recommending the student knows where student is applying, or he or she knows the student personally. And then you can see that in the next lines, he's telling about the program as well, that sustainable development, for example. And then you can see that he's giving the example that in my advanced renewable energy course, a student ranked in the top 5% in class. And then you can see that he's being very like, he's forcing that I'm confident that this the student will excel in Erasmus Mundus program. So these are the things which you have to take under consideration for letter of recommendation as well, because the letter of recommendation is something you are not writing that, because it's something given by someone else. So someone else is basically giving guarantee of you that given an opportunity to this student can be beneficial for this particular master's program. And then he's giving the proof and he's giving the justification that, okay, if I'm saying this thing, this is the reason why I'm saying. I've observed him during the class, I've observed him during the exams, I've observed him during the coursework projects, and blah blah blah, so on. So you have to be careful about that as well. And this is one demonstration of CV. So this CV is very general. So you can see that there is no explanation of responsibilities, achievements, or the impact and the roles. For example, if you look at the education section, it's just something very general: completed a variety of courses in engineering, graduated with good grades. So it doesn't go in like little bit. It would have been better if there had been some more description. And then in work experience, for example, there are no details and thesis is not mentioned. And then in skills sections, these teamwork, communication, Microsoft Office, these are general skills. How these skills are related to sustainable development course, for example, the one which I was mentioning earlier in last slide, how they are related to the skills, how these skills are related to that particular course. So the thing is, you need to be very specific. For example, this is another CV. This is just also like a demo, and you can see that there's a huge difference between this CV, the one I showed earlier, and then the one which I'm showing now. You can see mentioned. So this gives the sense that, okay, the student has recently worked on something which is related to this particular program. Then the student has work experience, and then these uh, had, or whatever the achievements a student achieved during this particular project or during this particular work. So they are clearly defined here. Then same for this internship. And then when it comes to the skills, the skills are also nicely presented here. And then this again gives the sense to the guy who's assessing the application that, okay, the student has relevant background, the student has relevant experience with, for example, MATLAB, Python, AutoCAD, and relevant softwares, let's say. And then there are certifications which are also related to that program, and this again gives the sense to the guy who's assessing that, okay, the student has not limited himself or herself to only the boundary of bachelor's, but he or she has gone a little bit further, and they have the recent experience. For example, they have additional knowledge which fulfills the requirement of this particular master's degree course.
Okay, so thank you, Rafiq, for your explanation about Erasmus Mundus. This is me, Subhan. I completed my bachelor's as the host introduced me from Sakurai BA, and I then moved to Norway for my master's degree. And I completed my master's from NTNU as well. Now I'm working as a software engineer here in Norway in a Norwegian company. It's called Norsk Tipping. So I will show you how you can search Erasmus Mundus program that is relevant to your subject, and then you can apply. So let me share my screen. So this is Erasmus Mundus catalog. I already shared this in the chat, but you can also find it like if you Google. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah. So if you can Google Erasmus Mundus catalog in Google, you can also find this link here. If you like click this link, and then there you will find search the course catalog link that's already that I shared in the previous meeting, but I'll share in this meeting as well. So here you have different programs that you can search from this list. There are almost 189 Erasmus Mundus master's program in different domains. So you have different type of filters as well here. Like if you want to search Erasmus program that should start in Spain, you can also search through country. You can also search through duration, university, field of study, year of project completion, and so on. You can also put some keywords, like for suppose if I'm from computer science, I can search maybe computer, and then I will find the relevant program that is relevant with this keyword. Similarly, you can also search different other keywords like business. There are different programs that are relevant to business domain, like international masters on tourism and innovation, and medical technology and healthcare business. Students who are doing MBBS, they can also apply in this type of program that is related to medical technology. And there is another program as well about system engineering, technology, and business. Same, if you see, there is also link to that specific program as well. For suppose अगर मुझे इस program में apply करना है, so अगर details मुझे यहाँ पे नहीं मिल रही, I can go to this link and see what this program is about. What are the requirement, how to apply. You have different type of links here, like how to apply, who are the partners of this program, and testimonials from alumni and current students as well. So इस तरह हर प्रोग्राम की अपनी वेबसाइट भी है that you can explore. अब जैसे जिस प्रोग्राम में रफीक ने मास्टर्स किया है कोजी, if we search that, जो कि NTNU से स्टार्ट होता है from Norway, you can find the course details here, and also there is one website that is mentioned जो कि उस प्रोग्राम की स्पेसिफिक वेबसाइट है. आप इस पे जाके इसकी और डिटेल्स भी पढ़ सकते हैं अबाउट के इस प्रोग्राम में क्या रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, डेडलाइंस क्या हैं. Everything is mentioned on this website. किस यूनिवर्सिटी से स्टार्ट होता है, like here is NTNU जहाँ से मेरी भी मास्टर्स हुई है रफीक की, and there are 2 other universities, one in France and one in Finland. तो इस तरह जो उस प्रोग्राम के पार्टनर्स होते हैं वो भी मेंशन होते हैं, और यू कैन नो मोर अबाउट दिस प्रोग्राम फ्रॉम दिस टाइप, लाइक अबाउट कोजी, व्हाट्स ओवरव्यू, किस तरह के कोर्सेज होते हैं, एंड मास्टर्स थीसिस कैसी होती है, स्कॉलरशिप में क्या कवर्ड है. यू कैन आल्सो लाइक गेट एवरी इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम these specific websites to different Erasmus Mundus master's programs. बाकी इसको फिर आप खुद एक्सप्लोर करें कि इस पोर्टल पे कैसे आपने प्रोग्राम ढूंढना है, एंड देन रीड अबाउट इट. सो दिस वाज अबाउट catalog. Over to Rafiq again if you want to add something.
Okay, so if there is time, I can go in little bit more depth about this catalog thing. I think you have covered most of the things, but still maybe something is missing. So if there is time, if not, then
Yes, sir.
it's okay. We can move to the next section for question answer and.
Sir, we have 30 minutes, so we can save 20 minutes for Q&A and you can explain more.
Okay. Catalog. So this was the catalog. So I would suggest rather than using these keywords, you use field of study, because normally you don't know, or you're not sure that whatever keywords you are using, they are correct, or if they are in the course description, or if they are in the course title. So I would suggest using field of study rather than keywords. And for example, here, if you click on information science and engineering, then you search it, and then you will find all the programs related to this specific domain. Imaging, for example, and then this is IPCV. There are a lot of programs. So I think this will be more better way of exploring the catalog. If you can use keywords, but there is a possibility that you may miss some courses. Or even I will suggest not to use the field of study and then look for all the pages, like 20 pages, and you will find relevant courses, because there is always this issue with these Erasmus courses, that they are like, since they are multidisciplinary and their names are very specific, they are not like very, very common, or very like for example, we have in Pakistan, for example, we have masters in computer science and masters in this and this. So these are like very, very specific, masters in smart cities and communities. So here you can find electronics and everything. So it would have been like masters in electronics engineering, but rather it's masters in smart cities and communities, because these courses are multidisciplinary. So their names are also very, very specific. So you need to explore everything by your own, which courses are relevant to your particular bachelor's, and where you are suitable to apply. So yes, as Subhan mentioned, for example, I like this course, that's why I'm showing this. So for example, here we have two options. If you click on this link, it will open this new website, where you can see that which are the partners for this particular courses, and what are the countries. So this, for example, France, and then Hungary, and then Spain. So these are three partner universities, and you can also see that on which thing they focus. So for example, computer vision, image processing, and stuff like this. So you can see details here. And then if you click the second link, for example this, then you can go on this page, as Subhan was mentioning, that you can find more about the course here. And then you can also see that you are eligible to apply, or if you are not eligible, you can also check that as well. And you can also see the dates. So normally if you click on this section, apply, or application section, or apply now section, you will find the deadline. So for example, this program is open now, and the deadline is 6th February. And then you can see eligibility criteria as well. For example, they are saying that you should have bachelor's, and blah blah blah. So you can read everything, and then you can check that, okay, I am suitable for this program or not. So for example, must bachelor's in computer science, then mathematics, physics, or something like this, and then your grade should be good. So you have to also consider this thing as well. And then for IELTS, it's also mentioned that you should have B2, so 6.5 overall. So you have to, you can check everything from here, and you can then decide if you are eligible for this program or not. And then if we go here, we have everything more detailed here. So this is the thing I was telling during the presentation, that most of these programs, they ask you should have CV in Europass template, and they have provided the template, so you can download the template. And for this particular I don't know, this I haven't seen this template. So I will suggest that, since they have mentioned, and there is a asterisk on this thing, so it means that it's compulsory, you should use this template. But if they haven't given the template, and if they have just said that, okay, just CV, then it will be good to search this Europass website and make your account, and then fill in your details and download the CV. And then see, and this is for example, for the letter of motivation. So they haven't given any specific template, but they have put this restriction that your letter of motivation should not be more than 1000 words. So you have to respect these limitations, because at the time of application we think that these are minor things, there are, I should put more details, but these are little things which gives the sense of how responsible you are with the limitations, with the given domain, with the given limits, how you are good to explain yourself. So you have to consider these things, because if not, then your application will be rejected, of course. And then these recommendation letters, so they've also mentioned how your recommendation letter should be no more than 2 pages per reference letter. So now I would say it should be 1 page, so it's okay. And then it should be on institutional head page, and then there should be a paper, headed paper, and then there should be a official stamp of the one who's referring you. So it's not like just you put the signature, but you ask them to put the stamp as well if you're applying for this program. And then passport is also mentioned, so you should have this as well, copy of passport, and then you should have a photograph as well, and then work experience. And then if you're applying like a self-funded student, then you can download this template as well. And you can also check this selection procedure. So as I was checking, I was telling earlier that normally they have step 1, which is more administrative. So they check your documents and everything. If it's okay, then they move to the next step. If not, they will just drop you from this phase, and they will only forward the successful candidates, which will go for the second phase, which is more academic phase, like academic track records related to image signal processing, programming skills, and mathematics, motivation and recommendation letters, everything. And then you will, if you are successful, you will move to the next steps. You will get the emails, and then there will be interviews and the results. So, and also they have this thing of appealing. You can appeal if you are not happy with the evaluation. You can appeal as well. You can send an email, and they will give you the appeal within 1 week after the publication of the selection results. And then and you can also ask them for help if you need any help. Like for example, something is not clear for you, you can ask them, and they are very polite, they are very responsible, and it's their job, it's their duty. They will respond to you, and it doesn't impact your application. For example, if you think that okay, this question is silly, I should not ask this, no, it won't impact your application. You can ask whatever you have in your mind, you can ask, it won't impact. And if you get some positive response, and if you think that okay, this will favor my application, no, your selection will be purely based on your application. So contacting them or not contacting them will not impact your applications, and the contact is only for if you need any help. And then these are the academic calendar, for example. So like the course, like the academic track, and then these are the courses. I think it's this, yes. So this is the thing I was saying, that when you will explore the program in depth, you will find the courses which they are teaching. For example, in first semester, you have these courses: visual signal processing, machine learning, high performance, blah, blah, blah. And then similarly in second semester, and then third. So fourth is normally master thesis. You can go anywhere. That's why it's like global. You can go anywhere. So in letter of motivation, you can check it, what you have been taught in the bachelor's. And if you think okay, there were some topics which were related to visual signal processing, or which were related to machine learning or deep learning, or your thesis was related to machine learning and deep learning, so letter of motivation is a thing where you can discuss these things and you can try to relate, but it should be in like precise way. It should not be in very depth, but it should be like very precise. For example, if you have like some information about video processing, you can also relate that. So this is for the candidates who think that our profile is not directly related to the program. For example, when I was applying for COSI, my bachelor's was not directly related, because I did it in bachelor's in electronics engineering. Then I went in the website, and then I looked on the courses, which courses they have, and then I found all the courses, and I tried to link my bachelor's with those courses, showing them that okay, I don't have direct relation, but indirectly I have significant or I have sufficient knowledge for this particular program. So yes, I think that's all from my side. And this is just one course. If you want to register, if you want to prepare for IELTS, so this is a course, IELTS academic test preparation. You can register. It's on the EDX platform. It's an online platform. You can register and you can explore this course, and it will help you to prepare for IELTS. Especially, you will get the idea that how this test is conducted, and what things you should do and what things you should not do during the IELTS, and how to prepare for it. And then these were the books which I was using when I was preparing for IELTS. I was doing practices, so I thought to also mention about these as well. You can order online. There are, I think, 18 different versions of these books. So I think it's every year or second year, something like this. So they have these books, and you can practice on these books. So you have this audio CD as well, and then you have some samples for reading test, some samples for listening, some samples for writing. So you can utilize these if you want to prepare for IELTS.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's all.
there was another website as well that they can use for preparation of IELTS. It's IELTSonlinetests.com. You have plenty of mock tests that you can do to practice IELTS. So I'll share the link in chat if anyone is like preparing for IELTS. It's a very helpful website. So I think now we can go to question and answer session, Rafiq.
यस सर। पार्टिसिपेंट्स, अगर आपको कोई भी क्वेश्चन है तो काइंडली अपना हैंड रेज करें, मैं आपको अनम्यूट करूंगा, या फिर आप चैट में पूछ सकते हैं। सर हमारे पास चैट में क्वेश्चन हैं, अगर आप उनको रीड करें तो आपको अंदाजा हो जाएगा।
Yeah, Rafiq को unmute करें। I was continuously answering questions in the chat. अगर इनको जिनका raise hand है इनको unmute कर दें, and then one by one we can ask.
श्योर सर।
Rafiq को भी unmute कर दें।
यस मिस्टर बाबर अली।
Assalamu alaikum and thank you for your session, sir. Actually, I have two questions that I want to ask from you. First, you haven't talked about the age gap. For instance, I have completed my master's from Kagam University Islamabad in 2016. So right now it's 2024 and the age gap is huge. In the meantime, I have worked with different organizations, so I have a job experience. Am I still eligible to apply for Erasmus Mundus? And secondly, is Duolingo test is compatible for this particular program, or only IELTS is mandatory?
So age gap doesn't matter in Erasmus Mundus, but it should be
Okay.
justified. If you have but it should be justified. If you have 3 years gap, 4 years gap, it should be justified. What were you doing on all these 3-4 years? So that justification should give a sense that okay, you were connected to the field. You understand? You
Right.
were connected, you were doing courses, you were doing job, you were doing internships, blah blah blah. But it should, the justification should be relevant. It should give a sense of connection with the domain you are applying for. So it should not show that okay, you had some financial issues for it. I don't want to say to you, but I'm saying in general, you had some financial issues, blah blah blah. This is not justification. The justification should be relevant. It should indicate that okay, you had educational gap, but still you were connected to the field. And your second question was about Duolingo. Again, if it's mentioned on the website of the program for which you are applying, and if they are saying that okay, we accept Duolingo, then okay, you can apply. But if it's not written, it means that you can't apply on Duolingo. You should have IELTS.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for wonderful
Yeah.
session. Thank you.
यस सैयद यासीन।
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, sir, first of all, thank you so much for the marvelous and enlightening session. Sir, my question was related to this IELTS. So basically, my majors is in like English, literature and linguistics, and I'm in my last semester right now. So when I'll complete it, I'll receive a degree, like an official transcript in English language. So what basically happens is our university provides us a certificate of a language proficiency. So is that acceptable? Like in certain courses where it is mentioned that English language proficiency is required, like B2 level is required and stuff, they haven't specified IELTS. So is that kind of like certificate, language certificate or language proficiency certificate acceptable, or like we have to give IELTS mandatory?
Actually, it
Like
depends
exam
on
IELTS.
program to program. You have to read the eligibility criteria on the program website. If it mentions like IELTS is not required and you can provide some English proficiency certificate from your university, then it's okay. Then there is no requirement for any formal, I would say, certification. But if they ask for a formal certification, then you have to prove. It can be either IELTS, and some programs also require TOEFL and other English like certification. So it depends program to program.
Yes, Mr. Haknawaz.
I think you should not mute Rafiq because I think is also muted right now.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Sir, first of all, thank you for giving me a chance to ask a question. Sir, my question is about support for job placement. Sir, what kind of support does the program provide for job placement or internship after graduation?
That's a very good question. So normally they have these partners. So as Subhan was showing, partners for COSI, for example. So they have these partners where they propose a list of topics, and all the partners, be it industrial partners and academic partners. So there you can select a topic for your thesis or for your summer internship, and this is the supports you will get from the consortium. And as far as a job is related, because the culture in Europe is, for example, if I'm I'm a professor, for example, or lecturer here, and I have connections, for example, and in my circle, whenever any position is open for PhD or for any job, then it will be shared with me, or I will share with my connections. So that way you receive emails from your professors, for example, if they know you and if they remember you, and they will send you emails that, okay, this is the job opening, you can go there, or this is the industrial opening, you can go there. And another bad thing about Europe, I will say, is the language challenge. It's very, very hard to survive in Europe if you haven't learned the language. So if you are coming for Erasmus Mundus or any journal program for masters in Europe, it would be nice if you learn language, because most of the opportunities here in Europe are like language based. So for example, if I'm in France and if I'm applying to different institutions, not the academic positions, of course they are in English, but the industrial opportunities, they are mostly, they ask for French because their customer is French. So for them it's necessary you should have know-how, or you should have certification of French if they are asking for French language. But in case of Subhan, it was not language, so he can tell you more about industry. I haven't been to industry yet. I'm in an academic position still.
Yeah, in industry, like if your domain is very technical, like I'm a software engineer, so I did not found myself in that loop to learn the language, because if your job is technical, then you will find the job if you are skilled enough. But if your job is like more towards customer service and you are dealing with public, then they will require you to learn the local language. Like for suppose if I'm in Norway, then I need to learn Norwegian. If my job is directly like communicating with public, but if it's not, then I don't think so there can be a problem.
Okay,
I
can
hope it's clear.
you can ask the question.
Walaikum assalam.
Can I ask question in English?
Yeah, you can ask.
बच्चे सवाल सीधी के बारे में हो सीधी से लेकर लिमिट आप पेजेस जो अच्छी होते हैं कितना 5 पेजेस की सीधी सही रहेंगे या उन्हें खाली कर सकते हैं जैसे कि एजुकेशन में अगर है थोड़ी सी डिटेल होता है ताकि पता नहीं कि किस लिया उनके बारे में वर्क एक्सपीरियंस अगर समिलर लाइन जाऊँ था जैसे उन्हें का अगर मतलब देखो भी था अवार्ड वगैरह या वॉलंटियर वर्क का ऐसा नहीं किया सीवी के तरह बिल पे जिसका मैसेज दिया नहीं तो वो सही है आना कंसाइज
आवाज आवाज ता जो ता ता क्वेश्चन है सीवी लेंथ के बारे में सही
जी जी
CV length. So she's basically asking about CV length. I think maximum it should be 3 pages. It should not be more than 3 pages. Mine was also 3 pages. So I think 3 pages is maximum because if you are going beyond 3 pages, then there will be a lot of things which are irrelevant. So that's another question of like how good you are at showing things very precisely and choosing very specific, very relevant things. So because the problem is that the people here, those who are assessing your applications, professors and coordinators, they are quite busy with other stuff. They have their projects, other projects. They have these projects like these Erasmus projects. Then they have research work, and there are a lot of applicants who are applying for the program. For example, in our case, in COSI, there were 1,000 applicants when we applied. So for them, it's not a so if it's like 5 pages, 6 pages, they will understand that this is very lengthy CV. So I think they will not focus too much on that lengthy CV. But if it's very precise, like I think 3 pages is maximum. You can do everything in 3 pages. You can talk about your hobbies. You can talk about your achievements. You can talk about your education, and you can also give a little bit description like 2-3 lines for each section, for each internship. You can also add online certifications if you have from Coursera, for example. So 3 pages is, I think, enough as per my experience. It should not exceed 3 pages. I hope it's clear.
Mr. Ghulam Hussain, you can ask the question.
हेलो सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर। सबसे पहले आपकी बड़ी मेहरबानी, बहुत शुक्रिया। आप अपना प्लेटफॉर्म दे रहे हैं और अपना एफर्ट और एनर्जी डाल रहे हैं हम स्टूडेंट्स की हेल्प करने के लिए। तो सर मेरा क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर ये है कि हेलो
Yeah, you can ask. We are listening you.
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि हम जो एरास्मस कैटलॉग पर जो अप्लाई करते हैं एट अ टाइम सर हम कितनी यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, एंड सबकी डेडलाइन सेम होती है या इंडिविजुअल अलग अलग होती है जैसे इटालियन में होता है?
Subhan, you want to answer or should I answer?
You can go on. It's okay.
Okay, so when it comes to Erasmus, it's not basically applying to any university, but rather you are applying for a whole program. So, for example, if you're applying for COSI, you are applying to all four partners or 3 partners, university in France, university in Finland, and Spain. So, you only need to follow the instructions. So, on the website, you will find the link to apply. So, once you apply or once you fill that application, you are done with all the universities for that specific program, for example COSI. And if there is something else which is not mentioned and is to be done, they will send you email that okay, like for example in COSI, when you will clear the first, you need to register on the NTNU web portal, because NTNU is this is what I did when I was applying. So you will register on NTNU portal because NTNU is main hosting university. Once your administrative procedure is clear and you receive an email that okay, saying that okay, we had administrative check and you are eligible for COSI, and then they will send you the link that okay, now this is a link where you need to register again for the academic phase, and that website was from University of Germany, France. So they will share with you. If they need something additional, they will share you. But you have to be sure that you have applied properly, and for that you have to look on the website and find the link to application. And this was your question, right?
जी सर, ठीक ठीक है सर। एंड सर इसमें जो है सारे प्रोसेस करने में कितने टाइम लग सकता है? 1.5 साल लगता है तकरीबन, या 1 साल?
No. The visa policies for Erasmus students is totally different than the normal students because this is European Union funded project. So they will process before the start of semester. So it will take like 6 months, I think, maximum. You apply, like for example, for COSI, normally the deadline is 10th of January every year, and then you will be notified via email. So it will be like around March, April, they will tell you that okay, you have been selected for COSI, for example, and then they will give you 2-3 months to apply for visa and prepare to move for Norway. And because first semester is always in Norway for COSI, so they will tell you the visa process. Okay, this is the website UDI, and you can apply here for your visa, and then they will also give you admission letter stating that your first semester will start on 15th August, for example. So you will get your visa before 15th August. If you applied in March, April, May, for example, if it's taking 2 months, 3 months, doesn't matter, you will receive your visa before your start of semester. When I applied just 15 or 20 days before the start of semester, and then I got in 15 days, like 3 days before. I got my visa on 12th August, and then I had flight on 14th or 13th August to Norway. I don't remember, it was in 2022. But the point is that your visas are processed on a priority basis because you are being sponsored by European Union. You are not self-funded student, or you are not on some regional scholarships, for example.
Mr. Shehzad Ali, you can ask the question.
I think those people who are waiting in queue for questions, they can also write in chat because we have 5 minutes left, and I don't think so we'll be joining again the link. Yeah, Shehzad, you can go on till then.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, my question is regarding the final year project topic, the role of final year project topic in the earning in master scholarship.
Your final year project is, that was your question. You completed your question?
Sir, my question is regarding the topic of final year project
Yeah,
role
but
and its role.
yeah, that was the question, right? You completed your question.
Yes.
So it plays a very, very important role. For example, as mentioned earlier, I did my bachelor's in electronics engineering, but my final year project was based on deep learning and machine learning stuff. So it helped me a lot to get into the COSI, because COSI is more into computer vision and color. So be very, very wise and very, very careful while you are selecting your master bachelor thesis topic, because it will help you. And the other thing is, when you are applying for some program, it gives a sense that okay, you have a practical experience of something related to the particular program in which you are applying. So it plays a very big important role.
Mr. Faisal Rahim, Mr. Fahim Ali.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum. Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Sir, first of all, thank you for very much for this successful webinar. So my question is that after the degree completion of bachelor, so what is the procedure for HEC attestment or something like that? We have to attest our degree from HEC or something like that from from the university or HEC for the Erasmus scholarship.
Yes. This is for visa. So when you apply for visa, your all documents should be verified and attested by concerned departments. For example, your intermediate and matriculation certificates and documents will be certified and attested and verified by concerned boards. And then your bachelor's degree and transcript will be verified and certified by HEC, and then these all documents will be attested and verified by MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So it's a mandatory. It's for visa application. It's not about Erasmus. It's about the visa application. So
you have a huge experience of this. So can you tell me that what estimation this whole process cost? I mean, what is the total time it takes for the attestation of the degree of matriculation, intermediate, or of the bachelor?
It was in 2022 when I did. So if we talk about cost, I think it will be very huge now. I don't know what are the costs recently, but it will be different. It will be different, and it will be much more if you compare with the 2022. Because I got translation of my birth certificate in 2022, and it was 800 rupees, and now it's like 5,000 rupees. So I'm pretty sure that the fees will be very high, and for the time, again, it depends. So it's mentioned on their website. If you are going for urgent service, they will do it on that day. for HEC and for board, I did on urgent basis. So they did on that day when I had appointment. I just went and I presented my documents and they put some stamps and they did verification.
हेलो सर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम।
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि सर यूरोप में अभी कंप्यूटर साइंस का स्कोप और वैल्यू तो अरूज पर है, लेकिन बिजनेस और मैनेजमेंट का क्या है उधर?
यार, this session is for Erasmus Mundus, so I don't know about the scope. I don't have anything to say about the scope. If you're asking about master's program, you will find a lot of programs related to business. And
और सर जो इरेस्मस मुंडस है ना, उसके लिए एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज और जीपीए मैटर करता है क्या?
yeah, that's what I was telling when I was talking about social activities. So those are the extracurricular activities. Like for example, if you have arranged some meetings and you were a volunteer or you were an organizer and you have carried out some sessions, let's say for example some related to rain, flood, and like blood donation, blah blah blah. So yes, they matter a lot. They show how good you are at community working and adopting the new challenges and dealing with them and facilitating other people with your knowledge and with your resources. And that also shows that once you complete your master's degree, how good you will be at sharing your knowledge or sharing your helping others, let's say in nutshell. So yes, it matters a lot.
But if we discuss about like scope of the degree that you earn in Europe, I think it's a very good scope. It doesn't depend on the field, because if you have a European master, you can get a job easily in other countries, if not Europe, like Gulf or Pakistan or whatnot.
Yeah, so if you talk about the degree, yes, the degree has a very big importance because the European education system is totally different from the other countries, and they are like developed countries, especially the Central Europe or these Nordic countries like Norway, Finland. So the degree is very valuable and it will help you a lot if you go to Pakistan or some other Gulf countries, as Subhan is mentioning. It has a scope, but inside Europe, I don't know. So, but every field has a scope in Europe, because I am just telling, I met someone and he was from Pakistan and he was doing masters in sport analysis, and I was surprised because in Pakistan I never heard about sport analysis, bachelor's in sport analysis or masters in sport analysis. So these people, they have scope for everything. It depends on your interest, and it also depends how good you are at those things when it comes to academics.
Yeah, I also know someone who is like water quality engineer in Norway.
Yeah, so
it's very like domain that is not popular, but he is working here as a full-time employee in Norway.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things. Dance, like for example, the project currently I'm working on as a research engineer, it's related to dance and theater industry. So we are trying to integrating AI in dance and theater industry, especially with the application of virtual reality. So they are working on crazy things. You can't imagine that, okay, this can be something you can work on. So they are working a lot of things like water quality. So this is very rare field. We will never hear these things in Pakistan, but in Europe, yes, they are working on a lot of things.
Sayyid Jaseen.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, I have asked a question previously, but I wanted to ask something else as well. Sir, I explored the catalogs of Erasmus Mundus previously, like in recent times, and I checked there are some courses which are relevant to the major domain of my majors. Like as I mentioned, my majors is in English Literature and Linguistics, but it comes under the domain of arts and humanities. Now, those courses feature the students of like or are consider the degree of arts and humanities. But then, for example, if it is a course related to strategy and planning, so how can I relate it to like what I have studied? Of course, I'm eligible to apply to it because it considers art and humanities student, but I haven't done an internship on it, or I haven't worked related to it, or any subject I've studied that is related to it except IR. So as you said, relevancy matters. So how can I connect this bridge, or how I can make this bridge in?
That's what I was showing when I was showing the course curriculum of IPCV program. And I was talking about these things like signal processing. This was my experience. So that was the when I was telling that, okay, for example, if they have courses related to image processing, video processing, and my bachelor's is in electronics engineering, but I have background or I have knowledge of signal processing, image formation, for example, or video processing, or I have worked on deep learning and projects related to deep learning or machine learning. So I can relate. How I can relate, that's another question, because for example, I know what I was taught, and nobody knows that what was taught to me. So I am the best person to relate these things. Like, okay, I can say that, for example, this is something you are focusing on, and this is something I have done. So this aligns, for example. So this is more field specific question, I would say. And you know about course, and you have been taught, and you have to find yourself, like explore it and try to connect it.
Okay, Mr. Fahim Ali, you can ask the question. Faisal Rahman, you can ask the question.
Sir, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Sir, first of all, thank you very much for giving the second opportunity to ask the second question. Sir, my question is that right now I am in the 7th semester of mechanical engineering. So what should I do right now? Should I start to prepare for all the documentation process from now or after the degree? Or should I only concentrate on my FIP project? And sir, what should be your step-to-step guidance as an expert, that what should I do to achieve this opportunity of Erasmus scholarship? I hope you got my question.
For now, you should focus on the things which are more important, because if you, I'm just saying, if you don't clear your bachelor's, you won't be eligible to apply for the master. So just focus on the things which you can do now, and but try to work in parallel, because this is a good skill. If you have capability of working in parallel, it will help you a lot to do a lot of things in a very short time. For example, in parallel you can prepare for IELTS, and you can try to tackle this thing, because this is very challenging. For example, it takes time to prepare for the IELTS. So if I were you, what I will do, I will try to focus on the on my semester, as well as I will try to focus on IELTS. So I will try to do it, or at least I will try to prepare it for it as early as possible and as much as possible, because the other things like documentation and stuff like these are like post application things. You can, after application, you can go visit HEC office, you can visit IBCC office, board office, or you can visit MOFA office. So these are not very important things. If you talk about the application, the important things are working on the projects profile to improve your academic profile, and then trying to do some courses which you think that, okay, there are some courses which I think are mandatory for this program, or I think that they will improve. Concentrate on those courses, and those courses can be like not only your academic courses in your curriculum, but you can do on online platforms like Coursera or like EDX, which I was showing. So you can get certifications and you can complete them in 2-3 months. And you can also focus on motivational letter. Once you are done with motivational letter, you can also focus IELTS, you can also focus on motivational letter, because motivational letter is very big thing. It's like, it's not just writing a simple document, rather it's something where you as an applicant is trying to sell yourself, is trying to convince someone to hire you for something, like for masters, because it's, I would say, it's not just a master's program, but it's like a job, because they are paying you 1,000 euro for each month. So it's also kind of job. So you are basically trying to convince someone who has not met you personally, and that guy doesn't know you. So you have to work on that document as well, and you have to try every aspect, possible aspect. It's not just putting the details there to show the relevancy, but it's also about how you put them to make it easy for the guy who's reading your letter of motivation, for example. So I think you should start working by now, because seventh semester you are like very close. You won't even have idea like how this time passed. So start working by now.
Mr. Fahim, you can ask the question. Mr. Najaf Ali, you can ask. Okay, Mr. Fahim, you are there.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum
Sir, my question is that I have 14 year of education. So there is any scholarship after the 14 year of education?
For Erasmus Mundus, 16 years education is mandatory. I don't know about 14 years, sorry.
ओके पार्टिसिपेंट, अगर आपके पास कोई जनरल क्वेश्चन है वो पूछें, स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस ना पूछें, मतलब आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप जिस सेमेस्टर में, क्योंकि ये लोग आपके पास आए.
Ask those questions which will help others as well, because there are a lot of attendees, for example, in the meeting, and they don't have time to ask, or if they are shy, there are a lot of things. So ask something general. Don't be like very very specific, and it like be like within Erasmus Mundus, because this session is for Erasmus Mundus. I don't know about 14-year education, or I don't know about like other things. So I'm not the right person to ask from these things. If you will ask, I will say, sorry, I don't know. So there is no point of asking.
Okay, Mr. Najaf Ali.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
I want to ask that I am pursuing degree in artificial intelligence, and should I focus on the CGP or should I focus on the skills for getting this scholarship?
Both things are mandatory. So basically for Erasmus there is like they divide, so it's not just one thing they focus on, rather they do cumulative score, and then they aggregate it, and then they take the average. So everything is important. You should focus on both things. I cannot say that you focus on one thing and you skip other.
Yes, Mr. Mohammed Panal.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, I'm electrical engineer from Saqqara University. I have graduated in 2023. Sir, my question is regarding the engineering program. Sir, will it be suitable that I should switch my field from electrical engineering to another field like robotics and AI or mathematics?
Yeah, still you are within the electrical engineering, because robotics is also like subdomain of electrical engineering. And yes, you can switch. For example, I switched from electronics engineering to computational color and spectral imaging. So you can switch. But when you apply for that particular course, you need to be very reasonable if you want to be selected there. But switching a field is not a big problem. It's like you are getting more skills. But for you, if you are going to robotics, I would say you are still under the umbrella of electrical engineering.
Yes, Mr. Sajid Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, first of all, thanks for this massive session. My question is there any interview process in Erasmus Mundus after completion of the application?
You're asking about interview?
Yes, sir.
So it again depends on the programs. For some, there is no interview. For others, yes, there is interview. So then you have to prepare for the interview. And the interview is mostly from the documents which you have submitted, especially your CV and whatever you have said in your letter of motivation. So if there is interview, it will be from those documents. But for some, there isn't. For example, for COSI, there was no any interview. But now they have included this thing after our cohort. they have included this thing to take interviews and ask students the questions from CV, because there were some cases happened and then they changed the system. So
Yes, Mr. Rafiq Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, before proceeding to my question, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the SEO management and Mr. Rafiq Ahmad and Mr. Subhan Ali Mangi as well for their outstanding efforts in supporting students pursuing for scholarships or hunting scholarships abroad. Actually, my question is about. I'm asking. By the way, I'm asking this question on my friend's behalf. The question is, he had done his undergrad degree in 2012, and then he received his result in 2012. Then he moved for the job, and in 2022, he applied for a master's degree in some of Pakistani university. Now he has changed his plan, and he's thinking about applying for Erasmus. Is there any possibility for him whether he is eligible or not?
yes, I think for most of the Erasmus courses there is no age limit, but as I was discussing this thing in last session, that if you have gap, you have to justify that gap. So until and unless that gap is justified and it's reasonable, there is no problem in applying and getting the opportunity. So yes, he can apply.
Sir, I have a question. I don't know इसका प्रोग्राम का नाम है Erasmus Mundus मास्टर स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम. तो ये सिर्फ मास्टर्स के लिए या PhDs भी होती हैं इसमें?
No, only masters.
Okay.
If you want to apply for PhD, there is another program which is extension of Erasmus Mundus. It's called Marie Curie. I think you have heard it. So you can apply for a PhD. Then you need to look for that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, रफीक अहमद एंड सर सुभान अली मंगी साहब. मेरा दिल तो है कि मैं सिंधी में आप दोनों का शुक्रिया अदा करूं, लेकिन कुछ हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं जो उर्दू
अदा करे छॾे असांजी दिल ख़ुशि थींदी.
तमामु वॾी महिरबानी तव्हांजी. तव्हां पंहिंजो क़ीमती वक़्त मां कुझु टाइम कढियो ऐं सभ खां अमेज़िंग ॻाल्हि मूंखे हिकिड़ी सुठी लॻी, बल्कि जेका मां चवां ॾाढी दिलि खे वणी, उहा तव्हांजो स्लाइड्स जीअं ई स्टार्ट थियूं हुनजे जेको कोननि खां कुंडुनि खां अजरक वारी डिज़ाइन हुई, इन रियली मूंखे सफ़ा हैरत में विझी छॾियो. मोर देन आई गेस 90 सेशंस असां हिन वक़्त ताईं कया आहिनि 2 सालनि जे अंदरि, पर ही फर्स्ट टाइम हो जो स्लाइड्स ते मतिलबु अजरक जी डिज़ाइन ॾिठी मूं. SEO असांजी ऑर्गेनाइज़ेशन जो नालो सिंध एजुकेशनल ऑर्गेनाइज़ेशन आहे, पर इंशाल्लाह मां तव्हांजो नंबर सर सुभाणे खां वठंदुमि ऐं नेक्स्ट सेशन मां चाहींदुमि तव्हां भेटाइजी शाइरी ते ॾियो. थोरो इन ते असांजो हाणे स्विच कंदासीं त बहरहाल ॾाढो सुठो.
इंशाल्लाह न को मसलो ई कोन्हे. असांजो फर्ज़ आहे यार, असांजी ड्यूटी आहे, असांजो फर्ज़ आहे असां गाइड कयूं ऐं असांजी ख़ुशनसीबी आहे जो असां कंहिंजो ज़रियो बणिजूं. असां लाइ बि अलाह साईं को ज़रियो ई ठाहियो. ज़ाहिरी ॻाल्हि आहे, इंसान माउ जे पेट मां नाहे सिखंदो शयूं. ज़ाहिरी ॻाल्हि आहे, इहे रेड़ियूं पाए करे सिखंदो आहे ऐं इन खां वधीक का ख़ुशनसीबी कोन्हे जो माण्हू कंहिंजी भलाई जो ज़रियो बणिजे. सो ज़रूरु. ऐं बाक़ी जेसि ताईं अजरक जी ॻाल्हि आहे त हा, अजरक साईं असां सां गॾु हूंदो आहे हर जॻह ते.
असां जिते वेंदा आहियूं अजरक गॾु हूंदो आहे.
ऐं बाक़ी शाह साहिब ते बिल्कुलु पाण करे था सघूं.
अजरक तव्हांखे असां बि ॾेखारींदासीं त असां बि जंहिं पहाड़ ते जंहिं मंज़िल ते विया आहियूं उते अजरक खे ज़रूरु लहरायो आहे. इंशाल्लाह
इहो इंसान जो हिकिड़ो फितरी अमल आहे. इंसान फितरत जूं खोड़ शयूं जेके इंसान जी फितरत में शामिल आहिनि, इंसान उन्हनि खां जुदा नथो थी सघे, भले किथे बि हुजे. ऐं हिकिड़ो कल्चर त पंहिंजी जॻह ते, पर हिकिड़ी फितरी मोहबत इंसान खे थी वञे थी. माण्हू उसके मिसाल पाकिस्तान जी का सुखड़ी कढा या वरी अगरि पंहिंजी सकाफ़त जी सुखड़ी कढा, त इहे कुदरती हिकिड़ा हिसाब किताब ठहियल आहिनि. हिननि खां माण्हू अलॻि नथो थी सघे, माण्हू किथे बि हुजे. ऐं माण्हू जेतिरो परे थींदो वञे थो ओतिरी सिक ओतिरी छिक वधंदी वञे थी, त पोइ माण्हू रखे थो शयूं पाण सां गॾु निशानी जे तौरु. ऐं हिते वरी इंटरनेशनल इवेंट्स बि काफ़ी थियनि था, त पोइ इहे शयूं लाज़मी हुजनि, छो जो हिते इहा शइ पसंदि कई वेंदी आहे. पंहिंजे कल्चर सां मोहबत, पंहिंजी लैंग्वेज सां मोहबत. ऐं मुंहिंजो इनिशियली टू बी ऑनेस्ट इरादो हो सिंधी में सेशन करण जो, पर मूं हिन जे करे न कयो छो जो मूंखे ख़बर इहा आइडियंस काफ़ी हूंदी आहे। मूं सुभाणे खां बि पुछो ऐं पोइ जॾहिं मूं नंबर ॾिठो आइडियंस जो 100 ताईं हुयो तक़रीबन, त मूंखे अंदाज़ो थी वियो त काफ़ी आइडियंस पंहिंजी डाइवर्स हूंदी ऐं इन जे करे सेशन खे फ्रूटफुल बणाइण जे लाइ बहितर रहंदो त इंग्लिश में या उर्दू में कजे।
न साईं, हाणे इनशाला तव्हां खां थोरो थोरो टाइम वठंदा रहंदासीं वक़्तनि बे वक़्तनि। जीअं सर सुभाणे जो बि ॿियो सेशन हुई, अॼु सर सुभाणे नार्वे जे बारे में ज़्यादा न ॻाल्हायो, वरी सर खे बि थोरी तकलीफ़ ॾींदासीं। बाक़ी इनशाला हाणे टच में रहंदासीं।
इंशाल्लाह इंशाल्लाह, अल्लाह ख़ैर कंदो। वॾियूं महिरबानियूं जंहिं जॉइन कयो ऐं असांखे ॿुधो, उन्हनि जूं बि महिरबानियूं। ॿुधण बि वॾो हिकिड़ो हुनर आहे, वॾो हिकिड़ो फन आहे। कंहिं कंहिं माण्हू खे हूंदो आहे ॿुधण जी सलाहियत, हर माण्हू खे न आहे हूंदी। त उन्हनि जूं बि महिरबानियूं जंहिं असांखे ॿुधो। बाक़ी कोशिशूं कयो, अल्लाह साईं सभिनि जा रस्ता आसान कंदो।
आमीन आमीन, कुर्ब, जज़ाकल्लाह।
ओके ओके सर, थैंक
Thank
यू।
you so much, sir, and hopefully you will share your contact कि बाकी जो भी रिमेनिंग पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं उनके क्वेश्चंस हम फिर आप डायरेक्टली रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे।
ओके ओके सर,
थैंक यू पार्टिसिपेंट्स। अल्लाह हाफिज। अभी हम और क्वेश्चन नहीं ले रहे। थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। थैंक यू सर, बोथ ऑफ यू।